The flashing red and blue lights flooded my front yard as I stepped outside, hands raised in disbelief. The officers shouted commands, their weapons at the ready. And behind them stood HOA Karen, smirking like she had orchestrated her masterpiece. Her shrill voice carried over the commotion. "If they resist, shoot. They're trespassing. Trespassing. On my own property." That was the moment I realized she had pushed this war too far. For months, Karen and her HOA cronies had been trying to claim part of my backyard as community space. First, it was letters demanding I remove my fence. Then came fines and threats about violations I never committed. And now she had called the police, feeding them lies to make me look like a criminal. I steadied my voice and told the officers, "Check your maps before you make a mistake." They hesitated, lowering their weapons just slightly. One officer pulled up the parcel data on his tablet, frowning. But Karen barked again, "Don't listen to him. That land is HOA property." I knew this would happen. That's why the week before, I started digging. Literally, I had unearthed the original iron boundary markers buried deep in my yard, placed there decades ago, when the plots were first divided. They had been covered with soil and grass, forgotten until I decided to prove my point once and for all. "Walk with me," I told the officers. I led them to the corner where a rusted metal post jutted from the earth. "This," I explained, "brushing dirt off the marker is the official survey point. It matches county records. I've got 3 more along this line." The officers exchanged looks, clearly reconsidering. Karen's smug grin faltered. "He planted that." She screeched, but the officer shook his head. "Ma'am, you can't just fake boundary markers." We traced every marker, each one aligning perfectly with the survey map the officer held. My yard was indisputably mine. Karen's lies collapsed before her very eyes. The officer turned on her. "Ma'am, you knowingly made a false report and tried to escalate this situation dangerously. You told us to use lethal force on a homeowner lawfully standing on his own property." Karen went pale. The cuffs clicked shut around her wrists. As her smugness drained into shock, neighbors who had gathered nearby whispered and shook their heads, finally seeing the monster she truly was, as she was led to the cruiser. I stood tall in my dug-up yard, dirt still under my nails, but victory in my hands. They tried to bury the truth, just had to dig it up. Asterisk, this story is just the beginning. There is so much more ahead. Subscribe to the channel to join me on this journey.